Hello, this is Mad Cat, and well, it's another lovely day of bullshit, and more bullshit. I'm still getting over this cold. At least I'm in the phlegm stage, so it means lots of spitting. I'm sure you didn't need to know that. I don't know. I just never really been out in the cold before, and it's just kind of disconcerting. I mean, I did live in Philadelphia or close to it for about 18 months, so technically I've only been through like 2 winters. But I also had the luxury of staying inside all day long. Being forced to be out and about, I mean, when I first got to Detroit, it was like very hot. And now it's starting to get cold, like the chill has set in. And I don't know, I just find that disconcerting because it's like I don't even like it being this cold, but I can deal with it. But I know that it's going to start getting much, much colder eventually to have snow. So it's not something I'm looking forward to. I'm seriously considering quitting my job. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just lots and lots of bullshit dealing with this company. And, someone said to me on Facebook, it's like, they only have power over you because you let them have power. And, I hate when people say shit like that. Because, of course, I'm giving them power over me. It's because I need to get paid. It's because I can't go anywhere else to get money. This is one of the only jobs that I can do. But in order to do this job, it means that I do nothing else. And, I try to talk to them with respect, and then they just kind of throw useless jumble at me. It's like, oh, you gotta learn to be a team player, and when you're in a restaurant and there's busy work to be done, everyone has to do their part. They give me that kind of bullshit, and it's like, of course that's what people have to do, but when I tell you what my limitations are on something, maybe you should be taking it seriously rather than directing it back at me as if I'm just trying to drag my feet and being obstinate rather than actually telling you something you should be hearing. I mean, it would be irresponsible of me to leave this job. Everyone has jobs that they hate. But it's like, there are other things that I need to get done, and I can't do them if this is the only thing that I can do in order to meet deadlines. But that by itself wouldn't be so bad if it just weren't for how I'm treated. And it's indication that the people who are in charge or who have position of authority really have no idea what they're doing. For instance, I had to rewrite part of the assignment that I did last, which I can't say what it is, but I had to add 5,000 words. Now, it's on something that I really don't know and would take me quite some time to really understand in order to do what they wanted. And that's when I got told being a team player, restaurant bullshit. And the person says like, oh, okay, well, you can just do 1 day of research and then do 1,000 words and get it to us by the 11th. And I'm like, I guess they're giving me a break, because I'm working on an assignment now and I need to focus on that assignment in order to finish it by its due date. I thought they were giving me a break. I was thankful. In fact, I worked so hard, I got that 1,000 words done in like a couple of hours. And it was hard to do, but I managed to do it. I'm like, oh, here you go. Here's 1,000 words. Here are the things that I did. They emailed me today. It's like, yeah, there was a miscommunication. What I meant to say is 1,000 words a day. And it's like, if that's what you meant, why didn't you say that? And this is just kind of a repeated pattern where people are not saying exactly what they mean. And yes, miscommunications happen, but I work for a company of ghostwriting where people don't know how to write. Anytime I submit something, I read it 3 or 4 times just to make sure it has everything that I need to say. And sometimes when I go back and write, oh, I missed something I meant to say here, and I rewrite it. I have a feeling that these people do not do that these editors and owner are not writers. They're just people who, just want to earn a paycheck and do as little as they can in order to do it. So that's where my frustration is. The second frustration I'm having is with the shelter. And, I decided to start going back there for lunch. So basically I skip breakfast, go back there for lunch, skip dinner, and then go back for a snack. I mean, that's not exactly healthy, but it's not like eating the meals themselves really fill me up to begin with. Every now and then I'll get myself a sub sandwich at Jimmy John's because they're pretty cheap. So I went back yesterday and they told me that lunch is at 12. Lunch wasn't served until 12:45, which meant that we stood around waiting a lot. And someone else had said something quite interesting, and it's like, this is why homeless people are so miserable that they don't want to go out for services, because the services that are supposed to be in place to help you just kind of dick around. They don't take it that seriously. They do whatever they want to do, and then what choice do you have but to wait? I mean, had they told me, hey, lunch won't be served tomorrow until 1 o'clock, guess what I would have been doing with that time? I would have been working. Because some of us do have jobs, and our jobs rely on specific schedules. We might be let out for lunch so we can go back to the shelter, but if the shelter takes 45 minutes to finally serve you lunch, that's 45 minutes you don't get back. And if you have to be back at your job by 1 o'clock, well, you're screwed. You don't get to have lunch that day. And it pisses me off with, I did a video on my channel, my other channel, about how the rules are designed not to help us homeless people out, but the staff, and that they can be fast and loose with it. I also went back to the shelter yesterday so I could see my caseworker. Well, I went because I asked, what time? Well, how do I get a hold of my caseworker? And they're like, well, just come back tomorrow during the afternoon. So I figured, well, I'm already going back for lunch, so I'll go ahead and go for lunch and then see my caseworker. Well, I then ate my lunch, and then I asked, well, when do I see when can I see my caseworker? Oh, just wait until after lunch. So I waited until lunch was over, and they're kicking people out, and they're like, well, you can go in the TV room. It's like, I don't want to go in the TV room. I need to get back to work. And I told them that, look, I need to go back to work. I need to go back to the library so I have a Wi-Fi connection. And they're like, so I asked, well, is there like a time that I can schedule, or what time do they normally come in? 3 o'clock was the answer they gave me. It's like, well, lunch ends at like 1:15, and I've got to wait around until 3 o'clock to see my caseworker. And that's just so frustrating. I mean, of course it's after lunch. You know what's also after lunch? Dinner, by that logic. So it's like, the thing that I'm hating right now about this shelter is that they don't take seriously anyone who might actually be trying to get themselves off the streets. They're just playing around, I guess, because they're bored, or that they hate their job, of being in the shelter. And someone should remind them of what it's like to be out on the streets when you have nowhere to go and you have to rely on a service to help you, and that service doesn't give two fucks about you. Or at least that's how they act. So that is those are the things that are kind of really stressing me out right now. And I mean, I want to leave my job so badly, and if I find another job that I can do, I'm just going to leave. You know, I might give them a 2-week notice, and I might not. I mean, the way they treat me, I don't think they really deserve it. Plus the fact that I'm essentially making less than minimum wage, so I know I'm bitching and I'm complaining, and I should be thankful because I'm homeless, but there's only so much you can take of a situation before you just have to say enough is enough. So that's going to do it for me today. This is Mad Cat signing out.